Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Narayana Namaskrityam Naram Chaiva Narottamam Devim Saraswatim Vyasam Tato Jayam Mudiraya Nashtaprayeshu Abhadreshu Nityam Bhagavata Sevaya Bhagavati Uttama Shloke Bhakti Bhakti Vaishtaki Om Jnanatimandasya Jnananjana Shriyatah Chakshurumilitam Yena Tasmai Shri Guruve Namaha Shri Chaitanya Manobhishtam Sthapitam Yena Bhutale Swayam Rupa Kadamaham Buddhatim Swakadantikam Vandeham Shri Guru Shri Yatapadakamam Shri Guru Nattamstu Shri Guru Vaishnavamscha Shri Rupam Sagrajatam Sahagana Raghunatham Vitantam Sajoyam Sadhaitam Savadhutam Parijana Sahitam Krishna Chaitanya Devam Shri Radha Krishna Padan Sahagana Lalita Shri Vishakam Vipamascha He Krishna Karuna Sindhu Dina Bandhu Jagat Pate Gopesha Gopika Kanta Radha Kanta Namastite Tapta Kanchana Gaurangi Radhe Vrindavaneshwari Vrishabhanusute Devi Pranamano Hari Priye Vachakalpatarubhyascha Kripasindhubhya eva cha Patitanam Pavanebhyo Vaishnavebhyo Namo Namo Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhara Shri Vasadi Bhakta Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama Hare Rama 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 Hare Hare Vishnupadaya Krishna Prabhupada Prabhupada Shri Raja Swami Subhaktararas Vishnupadaya Krishna Prabhupada Shri Bhaktivedanta Swami Namaste Saraswati Nirvishesha Srinivani Mukham Karoti Vachalam Pankam Namaham Vande Shri Guru Guru. So we are reading from Srimad Bhagavatam, Canto 1, Chapter 2. Now we're going to start text 15. So the questions of the sages are being answered. Yadanudhyasina yuktaha karmagranti nibandhanam Chindanti kovidastasya puna kuryat katharatim. With sword in hand, asina yuktaha, with sword in hand, intelligent men cut through the binding knots of reactionary work karma by remembering the personality Godhead. Therefore, who will not pay attention to his message? So I think whoever is here, they're intelligent, intelligent women. We are so faithfully studying this Srimad Bhagavatam. So now intelligence is sword in hand. Krishna tells Arjuna also, you need a sword, right? The sword of knowledge to cut what? To cut this karma bandhan. Purport. The contact of the spiritual spark with material elements create a knot. We need the soul. The soul, the spiritual spark, so meaning the soul, comes in touch with the material elements, meaning our bodies, and it gets knotted. So when the soul and material elements, they join together, it's bound together with a knot. So what is this knot? So this creates a knot which must be cut if one wants to be liberated from the actions and reactions of fruity world. Liberation means freedom from the cycle of reactionary work. This freedom automatically follows for one who constantly remembers the transcendental pastimes of the person with God. So, how to cut this karma bandhan? So the discussion that's going on, you can check text 14. Tasman ekena manasa Bhagavan sadvatam patihi shrutavya kittitavascha dheya puja chanityada. So one who's constantly hearing about Krishna, speaking about Krishna, thinking about Krishna and doing the worship of Krishna, nityada, constantly. So for them, this is the instrument with which we cut the cycle of birth and death. So we are remembering, thinking, speaking about it. This is all because all the activities of the Supreme Lord, His Leela, are transcendental to the modes of material nature. They are all attractive spiritual activities, and therefore constant association with the spiritual activities of the Supreme Lord gradually spiritualizes the conditioned soul and ultimately severs the knot of material bondage. So we can imagine this is a very graphic. So the body and the soul, and they come together, they get knotted. They actually get knotted. Like I'm just doing my hand, they get knotted, they get locked. And we can't remove, we can't separate them. But when we start to hear about Krishna, when we start to associate with Krishna, and any activity that we are doing in our day-to-day life that is meant for the pleasure of Krishna, this is Krishna's activity. So what happens? So because these activities, I mean, even in our own lives, so whatever we are doing, we are cooking and according to Krishna, we're doing the book distribution, we're meeting people, we're talking about Krishna. These are all spiritual activities. So what is it doing? It is gradually releasing that knot. It's releasing that knot from that knot which is binding the soul and the body. Liberation from material bondage is therefore a byproduct of devotional service, meaning that the more we engage in devotional service, naturally we are becoming liberated from material bondage. Naturally. We don't have to do anything. The only thing we have to do is to engage in devotional service. Such knowledge must be overquoted. Attainment of spiritual knowledge. Oh, we have done this one also. Oh, yeah, we did 15 also. Such knowledge must be overquoted with devotional service so that ultimately, attainment of spiritual knowledge is not sufficient to ensure liberation. So just to know that I'm not this body, but I'm soul is not sufficient. I must engage in devotional service. Such knowledge must be overquoted with devotional service so that ultimately the devotional service alone predominates. Then liberation is made possible. Even the reactionary work of the fruitive workers can lead one to liberation when it is overquoted with devotional service. Karma overquoted with devotional service is called karma yoga. Similarly, empirical knowledge overquoted with devotional service is called dhyana yoga. But pure bhakti yoga is independent of such karma and dhyana because it alone can not only endow one with liberation from conditioned life, but also award one the transcendental loving service of the Lord. . So last week I discussed this in depth, right? Actually, when I'm reading this, see, I'm just doing a very what can I say? There's no time. There's actually no time, but I'm just remembering how we attended one course, a seminar by His Holiness Bhakti Brihad Bhagavat Maharaj, when he was speaking about this uh, yoga ladder, the yoga ladder. And he was speaking about all this. So what I mean to say that for me to explain only this, but I did last week, I spoke a lot. But actually you need a lot of I need time, I need a whiteboard, I need so many things so that we are actually students. So now you have to learn by hearing only, not by visual. Okay, Shikala, are you able to read the next text?
Yes, Mataji, thank you. Hare Krishna.
You have the English book?
Yes, I have.
Okay.
Yes, I have. Text 16. Shushusho Shraddha Dhanasya Vasudeva Katharuchi Styan Mahatsevaya Vipra Punyatirtha Nishevana. Translation and purport by His Divine Grace A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Maharaj Ki Jai. O twice born sages, by serving those devotees who are completely freed from all vice, great service is done. By such service, one gains affinity for hearing the messages of Vasudeva.
So by serving those devotees who are completely freed from all vice, great service is done. So all of us, we are serving Srila Prabhupada's mission, right? We are doing book distribution, we are doing deity seva, we are having our own sangha, we are telling other people about Krishna. So we are serving Srila Prabhupada because he has given us this instruction that we should do this. So by serving those devotees who are completely freed from all vice, so great service is done. So what would be the effect of doing all this seva that we are doing? The effect would be that we will start to develop a liking to hear about Krishna, Vasudeva, Krishna Katharuchi. Vasudeva Katharuchi. So Shushrusho, one who is engaged in hearing, Shraddha with care and attention. So let me, now, some of you are new, some of you are very, ancient in practicing Krishna consciousness, all right? But as we go older and older and older and more so-called senior in devotional service, our intensity of attention and care has to increase day by day, day by day, day by day. Not that gradually everything becomes casual and aram, In the beginning, when I first went to the temple, then everything was so nice. I was sitting with great attention. I was listening. I was chanting with great attention. I was all eager to have darshan of the deity. And then after some time, it became just a routine. All right? If that happens, it means your spiritual life is over. Shraddha with care and attention. Vasudev Katha Ruchihi. So, do this. So Syan Mahat Sevaya Vipra. Syan Mahat Sevaya. So meaning that we do service with a pure devotee, Mahat, those who are Mahat. We say Mahant. So this Mahant, they must be pure devotees. So what happened? Punya Tirtha Nishevadat. So this is a great punya, we could say, by itself. Yeah, breathe.
Purport. The conditioned life of a living being is caused by his revolting against the Lord. There are men called Deva or godly living beings, and there are men called Asuras or demons who are against the authority of the Supreme Lord. In the Bhagavad Gita, 16th chapter, a vivid description of the Asuras is given, in which it is said that the Asuras are put into lower and lower states of ignorance, life after life, and so sink to the lower animal forms and have no information of the absolute truth, the personality of Godhead. These asuras are gradually rectified to God consciousness by the mercy of the Lord's liberated servitors in different countries according to the supreme will. Such devotees of God are very confidential associates of the Lord, and when they come to save human society from the dangers of godliness, they are known as the powerful incarnations of the Lord, as sons of the Lord, as servants of the Lord, or as associates of the Lord. But none of them falsely claim to be God themselves. This is a blasphemy declared by the Asuras, and the demoniac followers of such Asuras also accept pretenders as God or his incarnation. In the revealed scriptures, there is definite information of the incarnation of God. No one should be accepted as God or an incarnation of God unless he is confirmed by the revealed scriptures.
Okay, let's read this paragraph. So here now Srila Prabhupada is speaking of Devas and the Asuras. What is the difference between Devas and Asura? Yes? What's the difference between Deva and Asura?
They are godly loving. Devas and Asuras are against the authority of Supreme Lord.
Yeah. So Devas are obedient to the authority of the Supreme Lord. Asuras, they revolt against the authority of the Supreme Lord. So now these Asuras, so what happened to them? So in chapter 6 said that they gradually go down. They become animals. The Asura, they gradually become first. This is chapter 16. You're studying Bhakti Shastri, right? Chapter 16 of Bhagavad Gita. So it describes how the Asuras, they're pushed into the lower, even human beings, lower human beings. And then they end up in the jungle. And then from there, they go down to animal lives. So, these asuras are gradually rectified to God consciousness. How? By the will of the Lord's liberated servitors in different countries according to the supreme will. So Krishna, he sends his servants, like Prabhupada came, right? Prabhupada came and did something extraordinary, right? And in other countries, maybe Jesus Christ came and he addressed those type of people. Different places, different prophets came, that they are representative of the Supreme Lord. But they didn't say that they are God.
They are God.
None of them said that they are God. They say they're the servants of God. So the Asuras, what do? The Asuras, they accept pretenders as God. So they don't know. Surya Prabhupada is saying they accept pretenders as God or his incarnation. But how do we know who is God and who is not God? We should check the Shastra. So this is the first paragraph. So divine and demoniac. Yep. Go on.
The servants of God are to be respected as God by the devotees who actually want to go back to Godhead. Such servants of God are called Mahatmas or Tirthas, and they preach according to particular time and place. The servants of God urge people to become devotees of the Lord. They never tolerate being called God. Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu was God himself according to the indication of the revealed scriptures, but he played the part of a devotee. People who knew him to be God addressed him as God, but he used to block his ears with his hands and chant the name of Lord Vishnu. He strongly protested against being called God, although undoubtedly he was God himself. The Lord behaves so to warn us against unscrupulous man who takes pleasure in being addressed as God.
So now, so the servants of God are coming. But then, and these representatives are to be respected as God. But they don't say that I am God. Even Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, when some of his devotees say you are God, he refuses, saying, no, I'm not God. So this is very important. So the Lord behaves so to warn us against unscrupulous men who take pleasure in being addressed as God. Let's continue.
The servants of God come to propagate God consciousness, and intelligent people should cooperate with them in every respect. By serving the servant of God, one can please God more than by directly serving the Lord. The Lord is more pleased when he sees that his servants are properly respected, because such servants risk everything for the service of the Lord and so are very dear to the Lord. The Lord declares in the Bhagavad Gita 18.69 that no one is dearer to him than one who risks everything to preach his glory. By serving the servants of the Lord, one gradually gets the quality of such servants, and thus one becomes qualified to hear the glories of God. The eagerness to hear about God is the first qualification of a devotee eligible for entering the kingdom of God.
Okay, so when we serve the devotees, the pure devotee, by such service, one gains affinity for hearing the messages of Vasudeva. So here Prabhupada is saying that the servants of the Supreme Lord, they take great risk. Why is it that they take great risk? This world is very dangerous, right? This material world is very, very dangerous, because those who are averse to Krishna, they are the ones who take birth here. So in their midst, this representative, the Supreme Lord, he has to preach. He has to bring a change from Asura to Sura, right? So it's very, very risky service that they are doing. But they are doing it for Krishna's sake. So, very risky. The Lord is more pleased when he sees that his servants are properly respected, because such servants risk everything for the service of the Lord and so are very dear to the Lord. The Lord declares in the Bhagavad Gita that 18.69 that no one is dearer to him than one who risks everything to preach his glory. By serving the service of the Lord, one gradually. So, what is the effect? So, what is the effect? The effect is that I think Rashmi last week we were discussing on this point. So, when we do service and we risk, so the preacher is risking everything to serve Krishna. So, what happens? The servant develops the quality of whom he is serving or she is serving. By serving the servants of the Lord, one gradually gets the quality of such servants. So, meaning that if you're serving a spiritual master, then gradually you get his quality. What is the quality? The quality of the devotees to preach. All gurus want to preach, all gurus want to propagate the philosophy, propagate this knowledge in different ways. So by serving the servants of the Lord, one gradually gets the quality of such servants. Everybody knows that whichever company you keep, this is what you become. So if we associate with those who are interested in propagating Krishna consciousness, then we will also become Krishna conscious. So this is a secret. So we're going to just sit, and think, read books and think. If I don't follow the instructions in the book and do what Prabhupada is describing here, we will only remain like speculators, philosophical or mental speculators. But when we come down on the field and we work for Krishna, following the instructions of the servants of the Lord, so what happens? One gradually gets the quality of such servants. You become like them. Right? If you serve a bad master, you become like the bad master, isn't it? It's terrible. It's really terrible. It's really terrible. How if you serve a bad master, you become like that person. So if you serve, where is it says, Shyan Mahat Sevaya Vipra Punya Tirtha Nishevanat. So when you render service to the Mahatma, you also become Mahatma. By serving the servants of the Lord, one gradually gets the quality of such servants. And then what happens? Thus, one becomes qualified to hear the glories of the Lord. Because otherwise, you read and you put back the book, you are not interested. Right? You're not able to focus. You want to chant and you put down your beads. So by serving the servants of the Lord, one gradually gets the quality of such servants, and thus one becomes qualified to hear the glories of the Lord. The eagerness to hear about God is the first qualification of a devotee eligible for entering the kingdom of God. Eagerness to hear. So Shraddha, Shrushru, Shrushrushro, Shruti. Who is hearing? How? Shraddhanasya, with care and attention. Mahat Katha Ruchihi, who has taste to hear Mahat Vasudev Katha. So what happened? Syan Mahatsevaya Vipra Punyatirtha Nishevana. So by such service, one gains affinity for hearing the messages of Vasudeva. Rashmi, how you feel about this?
Yes, Madhuri, I got my answer.
That's your answer, right? So by serving the pure devotee, right? By serving the pure devotee, gradually we develop an affinity to know Krishna. It's not just a question of understanding who you are, whether you're the body or the soul, what is Prakriti. We develop Vasudeva Katha Ruchi. Anything to do with Vasudeva, we develop Katha Ruchi. Okay, text 17. Ashwini, you want to read?
Yes, Mataji, I'll read. Text 17. Oh, this is such a good verse. Shrunvatam swakatha Krishna punya shravana kirtanah hrudyantastho bhadrani vidhunoti suhrutsama suhrutsatam. Translation. Sri Krishna, the the personality of Godhead, who is the Paramatma, super soul in everyone's heart, and the benefactor of the truthful devotee, cleanses desire for material enjoyment from the heart of the devotee who has developed the urge to hear his message, which are in themselves virtuous when properly heard and chanted. Purport by His Divine Grace A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada Ki Jai. Message of the personality of Godhead, Sri Krishna, are non-different from him. Whenever, therefore, offenseless hearing and glorification of God are undertaken, it is to be understood that Lord Krishna is present there in the form of transcendental sound, which is as powerful as Lord personally. Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu in his Sikshashtakam declares clearly that the holy name of the Lord has all the potencies of the Lord and that he has endowed his innumerable names with the same potency. There is no rigid fixture of time, and anyone can chant the holy name with attention and reverence at his convenience. The Lord is so kind to us that he can be present before us personally in the form of transcendental sound. But unfortunately, we have no taste for hearing and glorifying the Lord's name and activities. We have already discussed developing a taste for hearing and chanting the holy sound. It is done through the medium of service to the pure devotee of the Lord.
Is it clear? This clear?
Yeah.
So offenseless hearing and glorification of God. So meaning that when I'm hearing, I should be focused. Right? Should be attentive. Should be focused. Right? So that's why, that's why there's all these Zoom classes. All these Zoom classes. It's very risky. Because we don't know behind the camera what's going on. Right? So we have to be very careful. Offenseless hearing and glorification of God. So when we are with full attention, then what happens? It is to be understood that Lord Krishna is present. He's manifested, he's present. And therefore, you get a taste for the next hearing. And the next hearing, Katha Ruchi Vasudeva, Katha Ruchi, right? Vasudeva Katha Ruchi. Or if you're chanting, if there is offenseless chanting, then you want to hear more. So Prabhupada is saying that how Chaitanya Mahaprabhu said that this chanting of the holy name is so potent, it's so attractive. But why is it that I'm not attracted? It must be because I'm committing offenses. In chanting, there's no rigid fixture of time, meaning when I get up early morning, so can I chant before bath? Yes, it's okay. There is no rigid fixture of time, etc. And anyone can chant the holy name with attention and reverence at his
Correct.
convenience.
Mhm.
All right. Anyone can chant the holy name with attention and reverence. So let us all underline this because we get mechanical or we get bored while chanting,
Mhm.
right? Or we are just munching the words, or we are falling asleep over our japa, right? So how can Krishna be present if that's the way we are chanting? Well, Krishna will stay far away. So here Prabhupada is saying, the Lord is so kind to us that he can be present before us personally in the form of transcendental sound. But unfortunately, we have no taste for hearing and glorifying the Lord's name and activities.
Mhm.
So this chanting and hearing is to be done through the medium of service to the pure devotee of the Lord. Shvini?
Okay, yeah. Lord, you can hear me? The Lord is reciprocally respondent to his devotees. When he sees that a devotee is completely sincere in getting admittance to the transcendental service of the Lord and has thus become eager to hear about him, the Lord acts from within the devotee in such a way that the devotee may easily go back to him. Can I read it again? The Lord is reciprocally respondent to his devotees. When he sees that a devotee is completely sincere in getting admittance to the transcendental service of the Lord and has thus become eager to hear about him, the Lord acts from within the devotee in such a way that the devotee may easily go back to him. The Lord is more anxious to take us back into his kingdom than we can desire. Most of us do not desire at all to go back to Godhead. Only a very few men want to go back to Godhead. But anyone who desires to go back to Godhead, Sri Krishna helps in all the respects. Krishna helps in all the respects. Is very true, Mataji.
Okay, so now the Lord is reciprocally respondent to his devotees. Right? So, read this. So he said that a devotee is completely sincere in getting admittance.
Mhm.
Right?
Sincere.
Right? Admittance. So you have to be admitted into the service of the Lord. I remember when I joined, and then gradually, because see, people come and go, come and go. So when you've spent 10 years and you're still doing the same service. So I remember that devotee told me, this is a great opulence. Is a great opulence. Meaning you've got the mercy of the Lord that you are still continuing, not after 2, 3, 4, 5 years, you just vanish. So when he sees that a devotee is completely sincere in getting admittance to the transcendental service of the Lord, and has thus become eager to hear about him. Is it, I don't know which class I gave. I don't know whether it is in this, or maybe last week, I don't know. But when you see the devotees doing the same service year after year after year, decades after decades, right? So
Yeah, we
last
In
week,
this
you
class,
talked
we had
about
mentioned,
last class only you were mentioning about a devotee who was doing that Mayapur deity worship.
yeah. So then, so Krishna says, yes, this devotee really wants to get admittance in the service of the Lord. And then see, the more you do devotional service, I mean, just understand this psychology. It's a spiritual psychology. How you progress. The more you do devotional service with sincerity, the more you want to know who is that person whom I'm serving. Right? The more you want to know him. And then gradually, you would want to know in Vraj, the original Vraj, how are the devotees serving Krishna? What they are doing? How they are doing? Are you interested to know where's Krishna now? This is like 7 o'clock our time almost. At this time, where's Krishna? What is he doing? Then noon, what is he doing at noon? Right? You are interested in Krishna's activities. That's why you're asking these questions. So meaning we are already pulling ourselves out from the material world into the spiritual world. So now, before all this happened, so what happens? Those dirty things that's in our heart, right? Shinvatam Swakatha Krishna. Punya Shravana Kirtanaha. Read, understood he Abhadrani. Abhadrani means inauspicious. Is it? Inauspicious. And what is inauspicious? Desire to
Desire.
enjoy matter is inauspicious.
Okay.
So it is sitting in the heart, So why is it that people are so afraid to chant the holy name or to sit down and read? Because they think that maybe I will give up my material desire. They're afraid. I don't know what's going to happen to me. I'll become like you, So they don't want. So when the devotee become eager to hear about Krishna, and now Krishna is just sitting and waiting for that opportunity. He's sitting and waiting lifetime after lifetime. His jiva is roaming around in this world. And the Supreme Lord is coming along with him. Right? And he's waiting, just waiting. Waiting. So as soon as he sees that, oh, somebody wants to come to me, so Krishna comes running. Oh my God, I mean, it's just terrible. So as soon as Krishna sees that we are eager to go, and Krishna is more eager, then he comes running to catch us. And so he makes all the plan, all the arrangements, how we can go back to him. Yeah, continue.
Yeah. One can enter into the kingdom of God
One
unless
cannot.
one
One
cannot, sorry.
cannot.
One cannot enter into the kingdom of God unless one is perfectly cleared of all sins. The material sins are products of our desires to lord it over material nature. It is very difficult to get rid of such desires. Women and wealth are very difficult problems for the devotee making progress on the path back to Godhead. Many stalwarts in the devotional line fell victim to these allurements and thus retreated from the path of liberation. But when one is helped by the Lord Himself, the whole process becomes as easy as anything by the divine grace of the Lord.
Yeah. So now, Prabhupada is explaining, how in this world people want to enjoy. So they want to control. They want to control and they want to extract enjoyment. So their objects, all right, their objects for exploiting material nature is women and wealth. Woman, she provides so many and so much enjoyment, so many good things. Whatever she does, so many things that she can provide. And wealth buys everything. So these are the two obstacles. These are the two obstacles for the devotee making progress on the path of back to Godhead. So Prabhupada is writing, many stalwarts in the devotional line fell victim to these allurements and thus retreated from the path of liberation. Right? Everybody knows this if we look at our society. How many stalwarts, they fell victim to these allurements. But, so Shrinvatam Sakatha Krishna, Punya Shravana Kirtana, so meaning these devotees are the line of devotional path, right? So they are hearing, they're engaging in devotional service. So what happened to them? Ridantas tohi abhadrani vidhunoti. Vidhunoti. Dhona, right? Vidhunoti. Vidhu meaning completely. Dhona, properly, fully, right? Surit satam. Surit means
Benefactor.
the well-wisher, the benefactor,
Well-wisher.
the well-wisher. Surit. Who is our
Surit.
benefactor? This Vasudeva is our benefactor. Surit. Satam. Satam means who is after the truth.
Satchitananda.
No. Satam means
Satam.
who's after the truth.
Truthful.
The truthful devotee. All right? The benefactor of the truthful devotee, meaning if the devotee is sincere. All right? So due to allurement of this material world, since time immemorial, the person is trapped. But if the devotee, so even these stalwarts in the devotional line, if they fall victim to these allurements and they retreat from the path of liberation, but when he's held by the Lord Himself, the whole process becomes as easy as anything by the divine grace of the Lord. Meaning he picks himself or picks herself up and walks again on the path. And who is with him? The Supreme Lord is walking with him. So this is not a lonely path. It is not a solo path, right? When we are practicing devotional service, the Supreme Lord is walking behind us. sheltering us, pushing us, so if we fall, he again picks us up and pushes us forward. Why? Because he wants to get us back. And he sees that we want to come to him, so he helps. So that's why devotees, if somebody has some type of difficulty, we should always go and give a helping hand. We should not criticize and put the person down. Like scammers, scammers, what they do, as we read in Apiched Sudaracharo Bhajante Mamananya, chapter 9, in text 30, 31, 32, right? So it describes that if a devotee falls down, we should know that he's still sadhu. Why? Because he's endeavoring. Okay, he slips or he falls. And Prabhupada writes, this is a severe warning to the non-devotees who deride the sadhu. You have to remember one thing. As soon as any sadhu has any slip or fall, immediately it is broadcast everywhere. Right? It is broadcast. Why? Because the non-devotees, they're sitting and waiting to laugh at that sadhu. Because the asuras, they don't want to surrender to Krishna. And when one person is trying to surrender and has a fall, so they catch immediately, they laugh. So Prabhupada said the non-devotee should not deride. So that verse was a severe warning. Krishna is giving a severe warning to the non-devotee. Do not deride. So in modern day, they call them scammers. They're looking, as soon as there is any slip, immediately they catch and they pull. They want him to be finished so that he can become on their level. So there is no failure in Krishna consciousness. Yeah. Right?
To become restless in the contact of woman and wealth is not an astonishment, because every living being is associated with such things from remote time, practically immemorial, and it takes time to recover from this foreign nature. But if one is engaged in hearing the glories of the Lord, gradually he realizes his real position. By the grace of God, such devotee gets sufficient strength to defend himself from the state of disturbances, and gradually all disturbing elements are eliminated from his mind.
Prabhupada is explaining that from time remote time, immemorial, right? We are already allured by this enjoying spirit. And Prabhupada is saying that this is something foreign to us. That the soul wants to enjoy this material world. This is something foreign. It's a foreign nature. It's an acquired nature. It's not our real self. It's not just like smoking. Smoking is not natural to us. We learn to smoke. Whatever, name it, it is not natural to us. So these are all foreign nature. Every living being is associated with such things from remote time, practically immemorial. And it takes time to recover from this foreign nature, meaning it's like a disease that we have caught. The soul has become diseased. And what is that disease? The desire to enjoy. And where do we find enjoyment? You find it here, Prabhupada says, in wealth and women. And women find enjoyment in men and wealth. But So if one is engaged in hearing the glories of the Lord, gradually he realizes his real position. What is his real position? He realizes, I'm just a servant. I'm not the enjoyer. Krishna is so kind. See, as you rotate in the cycle of birth and death, Krishna will place us in such position to make us aware that we are nobodies. But naturally, it will be designed. That we become, we are forced to realize that I am insignificant. But then it is not just being insignificant, it is that we realize our real position, meaning that I am a servant of Krishna. So he realized his real position, meaning that I actually belong to Krishna. I like to give the example of Hanumanji, right? Who's just sitting and waiting for Ramachandra's instructions. He's perfect servant. We are all Dasi. Right? So he's sitting and waiting for the instruction of the Lord. So when we realize that our real position, so by the grace of God, such a devotee gets sufficient strength to defend himself from the state of disturbance, meaning he's no longer allured by wealth of and women or men. He's no longer allured by these things. And gradually all disturbing elements are eliminated from his mind. So the next few verses are going to elaborate on this. All right, so this is sufficient, no? Sufficient for us to think, meditate.
Yeah.
All right, so please remember that in our devotional life, we are not alone. Krishna is right there with us, pushing us, helping us, even as we trip or fall. All right, Krishna is there pulling us up. But there is a qualification given here. Satam, truthful devotee, should be sincere. So meaning who's somebody who's endeavoring to get admittance in the kingdom of God. All right. So that was quite intense. Reminder to all of us. Yes.
Yes.
Mataji, I had some questions.
Yes.
Mataji, regarding this verse, this 9th chapter of Bhagavad Gita, that verse which you were quoting, that even if the sadhu does the most abominable action, he should be still considered a sadhu. So, Mataji, in that context, so if we hear, so you were talking about criticism about non-devotees are waiting, but actually we see that even devotees start criticizing when something like this happens. In fact, that's they know first, so they are the ones who are talking about it. So Mataji, even talking about it or listening to such a thing, that such and such person has done such and such thing, if you're not, you are just a third person, you are not involved in that incident. So even listening to such, okay, this person did this thing and whatever gross things, so even that is considered an offense by Krishna, listening and
Well, see, there are different categories of people. In that verse, it's an accidental fall down, all right? This Apiched Sudachakra. So what's that accident? Because we are already knew the person is serious, wants to do, that happens to all of us, right? Suddenly you just want to go to that party and have a nice time, right? Isn't it? You really want to go to that party. You want to dress up in the best. You want to exhibit yourself, right? Why you do this? Because you've been doing it whole life.
Yes, but Mataji,
So 1 minute. So what will you do? Kill yourself and say, I'm not a devotee?
no.
I'm just asking something very practical, right?
Yeah.
So all of us, we slip. Oh, every day I'm having every day the same meal. I just want to have a feast. And it's not because it's offered to Krishna, it's just that I want to have that feast. Isn't it? So all the time we are going up and down, up and down, up and down, right? So we're battling with this now sometimes, like we are going high, and suddenly I deviated, I became a good businesswoman, right? I become a big businesswoman and I forgot to chant my 16 rounds, right? It's not only about sex, it's also about wealth, right? Usually we don't speak about it when a devotee becomes a first-class businesswoman and is not chanting 16 rounds, right? Usually we don't talk about it, but actually it is a fall down, right? Like we heard, Srila Prabhupada, this person, this devotee, he started work and he says that I don't have time to chant. Prabhupada said, you are no better than an animal. You're just working, 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 and you don't have time to chant. He said, you're an animal. So devotees, so I'm saying that there are different levels of people. So if like a brahmachari or a sannyasi, this is because this is very much visible. This is very much visible if somehow that he gets involved with a woman, right? It is very much visible. So, and what I'm saying that who propagates it? Who propagates it? So usually it is the asuras who do it. Now, among the devotees, when they talk, maybe they are confused. It's not naturally that they are offensive. Maybe they're confused. Maybe they're shocked. Maybe they have put so much faith in this person. Maybe they are hurt. I was his follower or her follower and just see what he or she did. Right? So maybe that's why they talk. But in my experience, mostly people don't want to criticize. They want to be reassured. People don't like it if something has happened to a spiritual leader. They don't like it. Those who are close to him, they don't like it. They want things to be rectified. They want to remain in that sangha. Usually, in whatever level it may be. So those who are envious, those who are actually envious, these are the people who pull down, pull down, pull down. Just like I heard this, there's some videos, about if somebody does something wrong, So they made that survey and like if you lose your reputation. So it was explained that usually somebody does something like irregular, you could say, which you didn't expect, somebody to do. So then they found out that usually you don't lose your good friends because they love you. So it was like only a fraction of people move out of their lives. So here what we are discussing is not like somebody who has taken charge of, innumerable people and who somehow or other had some difficulty. I'm speaking here of just a regular person who has, who goes in some difficulty. Now, if it is somebody who is in charge of many, many followers, then there is a managerial issue there. You follow this? There is a managerial issue. There's not a problem of relating with the person. It is more like a managerial issue. But it is not actually affecting the person who's undergoing that difficulty. Nor is it affecting those who are associating with the person. Are you able to understand that?
Yes, Mataji. But Mataji, I have one more question. So, related to this verse, so if like one devotee was telling me that another devotee, not some, she just heard that she bought some books from this particular devotee, and later on he ended up in jail because of abusing of some women or something. So this devotee was very like she was very disappointed that this is happening. So I told her it's a big institution and these things will happen. There are different types of people. So Mataji, according to this verse, he has done an abominable action. But if he's in jail, he's getting a punishment for that. So he is also supposed to be considered a sadhu, no? Because he must be repenting, and he's not given up Krishna. So he is still considered a sadhu, no? According to this verse.
Yes, because sadhu is defined again in Madhurya Kadambini. Who is a sadhu? One who has surrendered to Krishna. All right? This is the 26 qualities of a devotee. 26 qualities of a devotee. And so main qualification is that he has surrendered to Krishna. So he will get his purification in the jail, right? And when he comes out, hopefully he has learned a few lessons and he will not do the same thing again, right? It's unending. We are in this material world. What Prabhupada says, since time immemorial. Let us have a little pity on ourselves, right? If I were in the place of that person, I'm hating myself for what I'm doing, right? So it's like may not be the best example to follow. I won't do what he's doing, right? Isn't it? It's not the best example to follow. I don't want to follow that example. But it doesn't mean that, I look down upon his endeavors or his service. Then the mind can be peaceful. If our whole life is only going to look left and right and find fault with everybody, what will be your life? Isn't it? It'll only be, just like now, the news are so horrible. Isn't it? You cannot open one page without being bombarded with horrors. You really don't want to even open, your phone and put on, press your finger on G or on U, right? So you're thinking, my God, let me spend time chanting, let me spend time reading. Mhm. Like, I mean, the way things are, I'm thinking of Prabhupada's time. When there was war, Prabhupada lived through the Second World War, in das Lila Amrita, all the horrors of Second World War, and, like India fighting for its independence. It's like we are living through all this all over again. Everywhere there's war. Everywhere there is chaos.
Mataji, I think to myself, there's external factors that we see, but then there's our internal factors, and for us to remain focused on what our priorities are is important, and that helps us with our journey.
Yes, yeah, that's exactly what we are talking. So meaning that more and more devotees need to be internal, right? And depend on the mercy of the Lord. So Prabhupada, when at all time there has been chaos. So when Prabhupada went through his own set of, whatever was happening in India and the world, then he went to America, and America was a completely state of disturbance because there were things going on in Vietnam, and then there's such chaos. And Prabhupada told the devotees, this is not for the devotees. Whatever is going on in the world is not for the devotees. We have to remain, as Kailashji just said, focus and remember that Krishna is with us, and our place is not this material world, it is this Param Loka, supreme abode. We don't know what our karma is. We don't know what may happen tomorrow, right? Like this coronavirus came. How many devotees left the body, right? Or did it hit only others and didn't hit the devotees, right? How many devotees left? So we don't know how Krishna will use what for what purpose. But internally, we, as you know, I mean, this is very important that, so Bhagavatam is our lifeline. Actually, when I'm hearing about all these wars, I'm thinking of Mahabharata, This is exactly what, Krishna was doing, removing all the bad forces, right? Entire world is topsy-turvy. Entire world is falsehood. At every step, falsehood. Like yesterday, my Guru Maharaj had to come from, he was away. He sat 9 hours in that airport. 9 hours he sat. And then I said, what was happening? And then it burst out in every, news. The airline is canceling, God knows what. And I thought, Krishna protected him and brought him back. And when we were, we were getting the news of a flight delayed, I'm thinking, oh my God, I hope they're carrying sufficient for him to eat and drink. And then the news burst out. People are sitting 12 hours one day without water. And when such a crowd at the airport, where will they get water? Everybody must be fighting for water, right? Immediately, say, oh God, I hope they have packed sufficient prasadam and water for him. And that was a topic that came up on the news. He came. Tired, he and his whole, crew, everybody came, right? And nobody's talking about what happened at the airport. It's only in the news. And so somehow the Krishna protected them and brought them safely. So everybody is born with a guardian, right? Everybody is born with a guardian. Such an arrow. It never misses the target. All right, it's late. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. Thank you, Mataji.
Hare Krishna.
Vancha Krishna.
No, we can never complete in 1 hour, right?